Andy, thank you so much for joining us today. Could you tell us just a little bit about yourself, your operation? You have hay, cattle.
Yeah, we actually farm of 9,000 acres of hay and grain, and we run 1,600 head of cows, all in Harney County, all pivot irrigation.
How did you become acquainted with Harvest Capital?
From a very good friend of mine, Jim Shepard, had just left managing a place and bought his own, and I was just starting out, and Jim introduced me to Harvest Capital.
Now, you'd had previous lending relationships prior to that?
Yes, I did. I had relationships where we were borrowing money on our land, on our operating line, and capital to try to develop from the same bank, and we found it to we had a lot of issues with it. And then I actually got to know Brian and Royce and you, and we learned that if we borrowed our capital from a land lending institution and our operating line from another institution, that it was a lot easier for us to get in a growth pattern, and was able to develop and build 70 pivots.
And allowed you to manage your own operation, manage your own balance sheet,
That
not
is,
to worry about the bank.
That is very correct, yes.
So what made you choose Harvest? What was different about Harvest Capital than some of the other lenders? Was it that structure between having a separate lender on the real estate and a separate lender in the operating, or was there something different about Harvest Capital?
With me, it was one was the personal relationship, and you cared about where I was trying to go and what I was trying to do. And two was the knowledge that you guys had as a company about where we were trying to go and what we were trying to do. And being able to develop a personal relationship with Harvest and being able to work with people that had the ability to understand agriculture made it much easier for us to generate the capital to be able to build the company.
Sure. What's one of the most beneficial tools that Harvest Capital has been able to provide you to make your operation more successful? From where you were when we first started, I think you had about 6 pivots, and now you're up to...
We're right at 70.
Right at 70 deeded, and then you also custom another, 35, 40?
Yeah, 37 I think 37. It is.
So, what was that one or two beneficial tools that Harvest Capital was able to provide you to help you to get to that point to become more successful?
Well, what happens to people when you get in a big growth, in agriculture with a big growth pattern and, markets changing every day, is that opportunities come, in this business. And most of the time, all the opportunities, they come with short time periods. And every time we would find an opportunity that we could add to the place, or we could add another pivot, or we could add 10 pivots, it would take us, 120, 180 days to get the place appraised, to get the place, to go through the system, the process. And with you and Brian, we developed a program that we call an RLOC loan that we were able to use as a land line of credit. So when the opportunity, came to buy or add to the farm, it took 24 hours, and you had the money, you bought the farm. And
true, because that liquidity is so important in operation, especially in agricultural operation.
Right, and we had the equity, but you still have to go through the process, and it was taking way too long to be able to actually purchase the property. By the time we gathered up the money to purchase it, then somebody else had to buy it.
Sure. So Andy, you're utilizing a revolving line of credit that's basically secured with your real estate as an opportunity to take advantage of those opportunities that may arise, either buying real estate, increasing your herd of cattle, or improving land. I mean, that's basically what you're using, right? It's a revolving line of credit that's secured with your real estate, the separate lender than what you have your operating line with.
That is correct, yes. Any of our capital improvements is all done with I call it an RLOC, a revolving line of credit.
So Andy, how has Harvest Capital's tools and ideas, how has that helped your operation to be more successful?
Well, probably the obviously you've been able to provide the capital that it's took for us to develop and do the things we want to do. But one of the best tools that Harvest has been able to provide for me is it takes a lot of capital to buy pivots, to buy pumps, to buy underground, to buy haying equipment, a lot for us. Several $1,000,000 worth of capital to be able to bale 45 to 50,000 ton of hay a year. And we have found with the revolving line of credit, the RLOC, that when we get ready to buy 8 or 10 machines at one time, rather than go through the AGCO financing or go through John Deere financing or whatever it might be, that when we have the ability to take that cash and sit down, whether you're buying one piece or you're buying 10 pieces, the savings is more than the interest is in a year. It's just opened so many doors to be able to have the ability to put your hands on the capital in a 24-hour period. I mean, it's pick up the phone, call Roy Sand, the money's in the bank in the morning. And it's been a great tool for what we're doing.
Great. Andy, thank you so much for spending so much time
Thank you.
today. Thank you.
Appreciate it.